Hey guys, this is Wolfie here, and I'm doing not one but two book reviews. As you can see here, the first book I'm going to be reviewing is Saban's Power Rangers Soul of the Dragon, which is written by Kyle Higgins, Giuseppe Cafaro, and Marcelo Costa with special consultant Jason David Frank. And the second book here is called Black Dragon Perfect Match, which is written by Tiffany Kai, Stephen Angelos, and story by Jason David Frank. So with these two books, and I'm going to be doing this from now on with future book reviews, I'm going to be doing two sets of scores for each book. One score is going to be my personal score, and then the second score is going to be for those within the fan base more specifically. So I'm going to start off here with the Soul of the Dragon. It's a what someone would call a graphic novel. The brief synopsis here is basically Tommy Oliver, the main character here. He's married, has a son, and the son, JJ, is part of the SBD, and for some reason, JJ goes missing, and Tommy Oliver has to figure out how to save him. So, and then with Black Dragon here, you have a teenager with autism. It's really bad for him at home and at school, and then it takes somebody at school to really catch on what's going the situation, and the person at school helps the teenager, and the teenager helps him in turn, so to speak. So, with this one right here, the Soul of the Dragon. I mean, what I liked about it is that it's like it has like some degree of balance of sorts of with like the action and the storyline, all this stuff. We get to figure out what's going on. This is a future Tommy Oliver. He's not as active, and with that, I mean, it's nice to see him, not taking on so much, but at the same time, he's also doing what he needs to do to save his son. So I kind of like that whole balance with Tommy Oliver being much older, all that good stuff. However, what I didn't like is bits and pieces of it looked a little rushed. I mean, for those of us who are familiar with MMPR or whatever, it felt like an episode of the show. I mean, things that are rushed just like kind of drew me off a little bit on that. I mean, the visuals are pretty cool. You get to see this morph, that morph, the other morphs, all this. So yeah, I mean, it's just the overall balance. I mean, some of it was there, some of it was not. I mean, it's just that I had to reread it to really catch on. So, I mean, with the score here, for the hardcore fans, those within the fan base, I do give this a 10 out of 10. However, my personal score, and this is because of some points of it where it looked a little rushed, some aspects of the balance was not there in my opinion, I'm going to have to give this an 8.5 out of 10. And now we're going to go into the other book I'm reviewing, The Black Dragon. Well, what I liked about this is it gives you the right feels in the right places because for me, I write fan fiction. And for me, it's you have to have a bit of a balance. And you also don't want things to drag on for too long. And so sometimes it's when you have to have parts where it's where there's time skips. This book actually excels in that time skips, giving out the important information as opposed to dragging it out too long. However, it also kind of hurts in a sense because, even though I got the feels in the right spots, however, I felt like I was reading more of an essay as opposed to an actual book. And it's just that, there's some movies that, where the execution of, friendship, changing each other, potential romance, it felt kind of, it's just the whole romance bit kind of threw the story off. And it's just in the sense of, okay, it didn't feel like a story. Because it felt more like I was reading an essay as opposed to an actual book. So for this one, again, if you're a hardcore fan of JDF and the whole thing, I do give this a 10 out of 10. But the thing is with this book, it took me a while to really get into it. I'm going to have to give this a 7 out of 10 because, again, it felt like I was reading an essay. The romance aspect of it really just threw the whole thing off. And it's just like, I mean, I really couldn't get myself to reading this as quickly as some of the stuff I would be caught dead reading otherwise. So, but again, this is my personal opinion. The next review is going to be in March because it's 5 books instead of 2 here. And it's going to be the Ruby mangas, which is the 4 individual ones in regards to the main characters, Ruby, Weiss, Blake and Yang, as well as the Ruby manga itself. So that's gonna be in March, and that's only because it's 5 books, and then the final book I'm expecting is gonna be the end of February when I get my hands on that book. So I just need time to really sit down and read the one featuring Yang. And again, it's going to be early in March, so that way I have like time to go over my thoughts on the matter. And like I said, I do have Ko-fi. I also have Twitter. And that's about it for book reviews for right now. So I'll catch you on the flip side.